Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I'm the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. So today's webinar is the second part in a five-part series on BNI Connect. It's mostly designed for new members or really anybody that's just logging into BNI Connect for the first time. So what we've done is instead of doing a big, long 2.5 or 3 hour training, we have split it into bite-sized 30-minute segments that we're doing one every day for the next couple of days. Yesterday, we talked about how to fill out your online profile, how to log in for the first time, and some strategies around that. Today, what we're going to be talking about is the online referrals. So how do we pass a referral to another member online through BNI Connect, as well as to submit all those other slips, the one-to-one slips and the CEU slips and the thank you for closed business slips. How does that all work online through BNI Connect? That's what we're going to cover today. We're going to follow that up tomorrow with how do we connect with other members around the world? How do we use this global database, more of a social media side of things? And then on Monday, we're going to talk about member tools and reports. We're going to take a deeper dive into the system and look how we can get some more information out of BNI Connect. And then we're going to wrap it all up on Tuesday of next week with inviting and registering visitors. So a couple of housekeeping things before we get started. As I mentioned, this is a 30-minute webinar. I do try to keep the content, the general content, to 30 minutes so that if there's anybody that needs to leave right away at the bottom of the hour, they can do so. That being said, I will open it up to any questions, and I will always stay on these calls until every single question is answered. I think yesterday we had about another 20 minutes or so worth of questions, and again, I'm happy to answer questions on the topic today or anything at all about BNI Connect. So get those questions ready, and when it's time to ask a question, drop it right into the questions panel in the BNI or in the GoToWebinar software. I'll see that question pop up on my screen, and I'll be able to answer it. Of course, if you have questions as we're going through the material today, do feel free to ask it then as well so I can answer it during the session. We are going to record this session as well. It will be made available both on the BNI Connect support site, which you can access by clicking this question mark here in the upper right-hand corner. You can also find it on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. All right, so let's take a look at this content here today. And we're going to be talking about the online slips. Now, traditionally in BNI, and just so you guys know, I am a member of BNI. I've been a member of BNI since 2002, so I'm just coming up on my 14th year anniversary, and my meeting was actually just this morning. We meet on Thursday mornings. Now, when I first started, we always passed all of our referrals on paper. So you'd fill out a referral slip or you'd fill out a one-to-one slip, and you would drop that into the basket as it went around the room, and we'd pass that into the vice president. Well, since BNI Connect came around, what we have been doing for the past few years is now, instead of filling out pieces of paper, we fill it out online in BNI Connect. There's a couple of great reasons why we do that. One of which is that, especially with referrals, it really helps to jumpstart that referral process. So rather than waiting till the meeting in order to pass that information, once you input it into BNI Connect, my referral partner will get an email immediately about that referral. More importantly, though, and this is the part that I love about it, is that it tracks more information. So when I just turn in a paper slip, I do get the credit for it in the POMS report. So I'll get that, one referral given, or, one-to-one, or however much activity I did. However, I don't really get to see who I had that one-to-one with. And, a couple of days, a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year goes by, and you lose sight of those details. Well, with BNI Connect, I can go back and look up those details anytime I want to. So I'm going to show you that as well today. So let's take a quick tour of this, of the home screen. So this is the home screen when you log into BNI Connect. And there's a couple of important things that you'll see as we discussed yesterday. Right up here at the top is where you can go in to update your profile if you haven't done so yet. But then getting down to the bottom part of the screen, we have our what's called the My BNI Business. In some languages, this may still be called the Member module, but we call this the My BNI Business here in the United States. And what this is really, this top portion here is your activity in BNI. So you can follow along with really what you're doing in your membership. How many referrals have you given? How many referrals have you received? And thank you for closed business that you've been thanked for. Visitors and one-to-ones and CEUs. Again, before BNI Connect, I would have to beg my vice president to please print out one of those reports once in a while and bring it to the meeting. Now you can log in anytime and see how you're doing. Now, all of these numbers here, so the CEUs and the one-to-ones, all of that, that will all be listed there, regardless of whether you're using the online slips or whether you're still using paper. It will show those statistics for the last 12 months and for your lifetime in BNI. That being said, there is a new number up here. So there is a number called revenue received to my business. Now, traditionally in BNI, we've always just tracked the money that you're being thanked for. So the giver's part of the giver's gain. In other words, what money you have generated for other people in your chapter. That's what thank you for closed business given is. And that is the number that's always been in the PALMS report. However, with the online slips, what we can do is whenever you submit a thank you to somebody else, you're essentially saying, hey, thank you for that money that I've gotten to my business. So we'll start to keep track of that for you separately. It's still not in the PALMS report, so nobody else can see that number. That number is private to you, but we'll start tracking it for you. So here we can have the revenue received to my business. So in other words, that's a tabulation of all the thank you for closed business I've turned in for other people. So right away when logging in, I can see, hey, is BNI working for me? So that's the My BNI Business Report. There's also a link up here that you'll see. It's called the My Personal Participation Report. And this is a great report for looking at your actual week-by-week activity. So what are you getting credit for in the PALMS report? And this is a one-year report. So if I click on the My Personal Participation Report, it's also known as the Personal PALMS Report. This will show me 1 year's worth of activity, and it will show me week by week what the recorded activity was. And this is especially useful because if you go back to this report here and you say, you know what, I really think I had more than 2 visitors last year, or I had, more than 33 referrals given, or whatever the case may be. This allows you to go through and search through the week by week activity and figure out where that was, or maybe I really don't think I was absent on a certain date. Maybe I can figure out why I was marked absent, and maybe it was a substitute that didn't show up or something like that. So your vice presidents will definitely be very, very happy if you can go back to them and pinpoint exactly which week it was. But on top of that week by week activity, the other thing it does show you, if you scroll down, it does show you your attendance history for the last 12 months. It'll also show you your sponsored members. So if you've sponsored somebody into BNI Connect in the last 12 months, that will be listed here as well. And also the trainings that you've attended in the past year. They'll all be listed at the bottom. So this is a great indication of your activity that you're participating in your chapter. So that's the My BNI Business at the top. One final note about this is that none of the statistics in BNI Connect, the summary PALMS report and some of the other reports, as well as this My BNI Business report, they aren't updated immediately. So one thing to keep in mind is as we start submitting slips, and I'll show you how we submit slips, but as we're submitting them, you won't see the numbers increment up there yet. And that's because when we submit the slips, they kind of go into a queue for next week's meeting. So now that my meeting is over as of 8:31 this morning, any slips that I insert today, any ones that I put into BNI Connect today, all the way through next week's meeting, will apply to next week's meeting. And then after we've had our meeting and our vice president goes back and takes attendance and all of that for the meeting and submits the report, then these My BNI Business numbers will change. So down here on the bottom, this is where all of our activity happens. So you see the first 4 things here are submit. Those are the 4 different types of slips that we can submit. We can submit a thank you for closed business. We can submit a referral, a one-to-one, or a CEU. The next is track your referrals. So as people start sending you referrals in BNI, you can track those referrals. So you can mark when they've been closed or whether it resulted in a no sale. We'll be able to take a look at that. The next four things here are, they say review my, and you have your reviewer thank you for closed business, referrals, one-to-ones, and CEUs. And that allows you to go and look at any slip that you have passed electronically since you start using this particular program. You can also just view a report of your received referrals, again, your electronically received referrals. And finally, we can print our weekly slip. So let's take a look at how this works. So for example, if I have a referral for somebody, I can click on Submit Referral Slips. So let's say that I have a referral. So I have a referral for, oh, you know what? I want to switch over to the test system here because, as I said, I am a live member, so I don't necessarily want to submit any referrals right now to other members of my group. But if I go over and I submit a referral slip here, all I need to do is select a member from my chapter. So let's say that I have a referral for Elizabeth Berman. Elizabeth Berman is the Chamber of Commerce Executive Director for our town, and she is a member of our chapter. So I have a referral for her, and this is John Smith from JS Insurance. This is an outside referral, and I gave John Smith her card and told John that she was going to be calling him. And he's from One Insurance Way in Wakefield, Rhode Island. And the telephone number and the email address and any comments. John is looking to become a member of the chamber. I can mark this 1 through 5 on the temperature scale, and this one is a hot referral, so I'm going to mark it as a hot referral. And then when I'm ready, I can click one of the buttons at the bottom. I can choose to either submit and start a new one, or I can choose to just submit this. Now the difference is if I just submit this, it's going to submit the one referral and take me back to the home screen. But let's say that you have a couple of referrals. You can do submit and new and bring up another blank slip right away. So I'm going to go ahead and just submit this one. Now, when it's been submitted, again, it's being submitted as a draft, so it's going into next week's meeting. You'll also notice that none of these numbers up here have changed yet, and that's because, again, the report hasn't been submitted for next week's meeting. However, a couple of things happened. It does immediately go into my referral slip. So if I go to review my referral slips, here is the slip that I just submitted to Elizabeth Berman for JS Insurance. It is there immediately. And of course, you will see right here, it does say the POMS status is a draft. Again, after my meeting next week, that will be changed to completed. The other thing that happens is that Elizabeth will have received an email notification. So here's a quick sample. This is a referral that I actually just received yesterday on January 13th. And this is a referral from Dave Nichols, and he actually referred himself for some remote support. And it has all of his contact information and his email address. It was rated a 5, and it has also, since he's the referrer, it has my referral partner's contact information so I can then follow up further. The great thing about that is as soon as he input it, I got it right away, which means I could also follow up on it. Now, in this particular case, it was already done, but if not, I could just click on the phone number and get right to the referral. Give them a call, send them an email, and get started. So that's the referrals, but we can also do all of the other slips as well. We have, for example, one-to-one slips. So if I have a one-to-one with somebody, I can go in, submit a one-to-one slip. I can choose somebody from my chapter again, or most of the slips allow you to also do a cross chapter. That means that if you have an activity, a referral, a one-to-one, thank you for closed business, with somebody else in your region, you're able to submit that for Palms credit as well. Now, right now, it is limited only to your region of BNI. So, for example, I'm here in the Rhode Island and Cape Cod region. So any other member in my region, I could submit a referral to or have a one-to-one with and record that for credit. However, I couldn't, for example, record a one-to-one with somebody in Minnesota or Canada or the UK. Right now, again, it's only limited to people in my area. But if I had a one-to-one, let's say, with Peter or with David Cordero. Now, I can never remember how to spell his name, so I'm just going to put the first couple of letters of his first and last name in. And here he is, David Cordero from CityBiz. I had a one-to-one with him. I'm going to choose David. And now we see that David is the person that I met with. And we met at David's office, topics of conversation, where we talked about new website technology. And the date that we met on Tuesday. Once again, I can choose submit and new or just submit. And as with the referral slips, my one-to-one tally won't change yet, again, until after the meeting, but I can immediately review my one-to-one slips. So if I look at my one-to-one slips, here it is, David Cordero. I can see him in the list where we met and what we talked about. Great thing about this is that we can start to now look back and see who we had one-to-ones with. The other thing about one-to-ones is that only one person of the one-to-one pair needs to put this slip into BNI Connect. So that means that when I put this slip in, both David and I get credit for it, and this slip will also appear in David's one-to-one slips. So we both end up getting the credit for that. Of course, the next step is thank you for closed business. So if I have a thank you for closed business for somebody, I can go ahead and choose the person for my chapter. Let's say Elliot Granville. He's the electrician in our chapter. He referred his best friend to me for some computer repair. So that resulted in $250 in closed business. It was new business and it was an outside referral. Hopefully everybody knows the difference between a tier 1, a tier 2, and a tier 3 referral. A tier 1 referral is when two BNI members do business with each other. So in other words, if I had fixed Elliot's computer, Elliot would have been a tier 1 referral. So it's an inside referral. He referred himself to me. However, since he referred me to his best friend, that is referring me to somebody else, and that would be a tier 2 or an outside referral. Now, if Elliot's best friend refers me to somebody else that they know, that would be a tier 3 referral. So it would be the next step along the referral ladder. With thank you for closed business, I can put in whatever comments that I'd like to. So I can put in that, this was for Elliot's best friend, George, for a computer repair. The comments, whatever comments I put in, they will remain private just to me. So other people in the system, they cannot see those comments. So when I submit this, once again, this is going to appear in my review, my thank you for closed business slips right away. So I can go back and see all of those details because sometimes the referral process can take a little while, and it might be weeks or months before you submit the thank you for closed business for a referral that happened maybe 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 weeks ago. So sometimes we need to go back and double check. So here I can go and look and see exactly what I passed that thank you for closed business for and what the amount. And again, this remains private information to you. Nobody else will be able to see the clients that you are thanking that person for. Finally, we do have the CEU slips, and I do recommend right now, go ahead and log in and make sure that you submit a credit for today's webinar. So you're going to give yourself 1 CEU credit for today's BNI Connect webinar. And of course, there's the corresponding review report with that as well. So I can review my CEU slips, and I should be able to see the one that I passed today. And here it is for the 1 credit for the BNI webinar. Now, when people start passing you referrals in BNI, you'll be able to see them in your received referrals report. So even if you know, with those little pieces of paper, it was easy to lose them or leave them in your t-shirt or front pocket when you put them through the wash, and then you'd have to go and beg for the contact information again. Well, now I can go back and look at all of the referrals that I've been passed electronically using the referral tracking report. So I can go back and see, for example, all of the referrals that I've been passed by various members. I can see who the referral was, their details, their phone number, their addresses, all of that information. I can also see when I contacted them, when I presented to them, and when I followed up. Now, that information is entered by using the tracking sheet. So for any referral that you've received online, you can go in and track those referrals by clicking on Track Your Referrals Received Online. This is the Referral Tracking Program. Now, if you think back to your Member Success Program, this is really what we taught in the Member Success Program. It was basically just a spreadsheet of information that we would go in and just mark in, this is the name of the referral, this is when I first met with him, second meeting, third meeting, and a checkbox to see if it was closed. We can track that same information now through BNI Connect. So I can go in and, for example, Gary Chesky here, I can go in, I can change the status of the referral, I can mark that it's now closed, I can put in when I contacted them, when I met with them, and when I followed up. And I can really use this almost like a CRM in order to follow up with my referrals. I can also change or add any information that I might have gathered. So Gary@Chesky.com. So I can keep that information here. One thing to keep in mind is that the thank you for closed business is not tied to the other thank you for closed business. So you still need to submit a slip for that. The reason that there's a thank you for closed business here in this form is so you can track different information, or you can even use this to track referrals that you didn't get through BNI if you'd like to. And it will not impact the POMS report. So even if you were to delete this referral, it would not take the referral away from the credit in the POMS report. So a spin-off would be that if there is another referral that's spun off of this one. So basically, if a third tier were to come out of this referral. Does that make sense, Robin? I know you just asked that question. Excellent. All right, so once you're done, you can go back to your home screen. And the great thing about using the referral tracking, even if it's just to mark it as closed, is that in your referral partner, so as I'm referring other people, and I go in to review my referral slips, so this referral, for example, that I just gave to Elizabeth Berman, once she goes into her referral tracking sheet and marks it as completed, that will then show in my tracking sheet status. So this is a shared bit of information between you and your referral partner. Now, one question I always get asked is, well, this is all well and good, but what am I supposed to do at the chapter meeting? Are we even supposed to have meetings anymore? If we're doing all this online, why bother getting together in person? And the answer to that is we absolutely 100% still want to have our meetings. We are a face-to-face networking organization. This is just a means of making it a little bit more efficient. Now, when we get to our chapter meetings, we still want to be able to celebrate all of that activity that happened during the week, during the referrals and testimonials. We want to stand up. We want to talk about our referrals, our one-to-ones, our thank you for closed business. And rather than fill out a slip when we're there, we can print our weekly slips. So if you click on print your weekly slips, This will print all the activity for that week. Now you'll notice that the referral slip will print in the approximate same size and shape as a regular referral slip. And that way I can, if I want to, I can cut this out and I can, turn it in at the chapter meeting. In this way, I can be chosen for the door prize. Everybody loves to win the door prize, so you can still be eligible for the door prize if you print out these slips and bring them to your meeting. Now, the other stuff, the thank you for closed business, the one-to-ones, the CEUs, that information is not in a full-size slip because you don't necessarily have to turn that in at the chapter meeting. One of the beauties of the online system, and this is a big benefit to vice presidents out there, is that all of this information is automatically entered into the PALMS report for their review. So this makes the vice president's job a whole lot easier. They don't have to sit there and count up all the slips after the chapter meeting. They just need to go in and verify the information and submit the report after taking attendance. All right, and once you start building up some data, this is where this part of the system becomes really, really powerful. And the reason for that is now I can go back and start to analyze, is my contact sphere really working? And if anybody doesn't know what a contact sphere is those people that you're going to be doing the most business with in your chapter. Typically, for example, for me, that would be the I'm in the IT field, so that would be maybe the web designer and the printer salesman and the internet services provider and maybe the search engine optimization people and things like that. So you can click on, for example, I'm going to review my referral slips, and I want to make sure that I am giving referrals to the other people in my contact sphere. So I can go back. I've been using the system since about 2012. That's when the online slips came out. Let me actually go back before that. So I can go in and I can review every single referral that I've put in since this system came online. And I can take a look through every detail of all of these referrals. And one of the things that I love about this is that I can take this report now and click the To button and sort this by who am I giving the referrals to. So I can go back, I can look through and see, who am I giving the most referrals to? In other words, who are my best referral sources? And going through, I can make sure, for example, Joe Sylvia here, he is the printer guy in my chapter. So I can see I'm passing him plenty of referrals. That's great. It helps me to make sure that I am participating in that relationship and I'm keeping my referral partners happy. The same is true with thank you for closed business. I can see who is generating the most business for my business. So I can go in, I can review my thank you for closed business slips. Again, I can change the date on this report and go all the way back to even before I was using the online slips. And I can do a couple of things. I can sort this by the name. And let's see who's popping up the most. Those are the people that I'm thanking the most for. I could also sort this by the amount, and I can try to figure out who is giving me the most business. And I can see here, Angela Moon is way up here at the top of my list. And what's funny is that she's not even in my contact sphere. She's a mortgage broker, so we're not naturally doing a ton of business, but she's referring me $20,000 and $30,000 referrals. That's something that I may not have paid attention to if I hadn't been looking at this particular report. Same thing with one-to-ones. Are you doing one-to-ones? Not just how many one-to-ones are you doing, but who are you doing the one-to-ones with? And you want to make sure that you're strategizing your one-to-ones to make sure you're, doing one-to-ones with all of the people of your contact sphere, your power team, but also, when is the last time you did a one-to-one with your other referral partners in the chapter? So now you can go back and look through and review all of the one-to-ones that you had. Where did you meet? Who did you meet with? And what did you talk about? All right, so we are at the bottom of the hour. We are at 3:30 Eastern time. So I know that some people do need to leave right away. So I do want to say for those people, thank you guys so much for being here. And what I would like to do is to now open this up for questions. So anybody that has any questions whatsoever on these online slips or anything else in BNI Connect, I welcome you to start putting your questions in now, and I will answer all of your questions. And again, I am happy to stay until every single question is answered. For those of you that do need to leave, and just know that this is being recorded, so you'll be able to review this information at a later time if you would like to as well. All right, we have a couple of questions here so far. So let's see, Meme or Mimi, I'm not sure which, she says, what about thank you for closed business in other chapters? So when you submit your thank you for closed business slips, if it's enabled in your region, there is a search cross chapter here as well. So the ability to do a thank you for closed business does exist so that you can thank people in other chapters. One of the things to keep in mind is that this will be submitted to that chapter's POMS report, essentially because they're the ones that generated the business. So something to keep in mind there with the thank you for closed business. But that option should be there if it is enabled in your region. Although if you don't see a search cross chapter, it means that you probably also won't see it for the other activity. Right now, it is still a choice whether or not regions participate in the cross chapter. Does that answer your question? So Andrea has a quick question. She says, I am confused between revenue received and thank you for closed business. All right, so revenue received is how much money I have made. So I get a referral, I bill that referral out, and I made money on that. I mean, that's why we're in business, hopefully. So that is revenue received. Now in BNI, we track thank you for closed business. So we're actually celebrating the people that generated the business, the people that created the referral opportunity that turned into business. So in BNI, we're not necessarily tracking, publicly, we're not tracking, how much money did Jeremy make, but how much has he produced for the chapter? So we do that by submitting the thank you for closed business slips. So what'll happen is if I had received a referral, let's say that Bob sent me a referral, that referral turned into business for me, I would then submit a thank you for closed business to Bob saying, Bob, thank you for generating the business. In the POMS report, Bob's thank you for closed business number will increase. Now for me, I made that money, so that will show under my revenue received. So does that help to clarify it a little bit, Andrea? Mimi or Meme, I apologize if I'm saying it wrong, says my chapter members are thanking themselves when they have been generating business to other chapters. So yes, that would be the other way around it if the other person isn't thanking you using a cross-chapter slip. Let's see, Robin has a couple of questions. She says, how do we enter third-tier referrals? So there really isn't a way to enter third-tier referrals since we're not present for that transaction, if you know what I mean. So there isn't really a way for me to put in a referral to somebody else that happened, really at that next level up, though we do track the business off of that on the other side. So there's really only a way to put in a third-tier thank you for closed business, but there's not really a way to put in a third-tier referral, if that makes sense. So again, the third tier will appear on the thank you for closed business because I can track that from my side that I have received business from a referral of a referral, but not really able to track that on the giving side of things. All right, excellent. Babette says you have answered this already. You may have answered this already, but can you use the submit referral slips to keep track of referrals given to you by someone other than a BNI member? So you don't want to submit a referral slip for that because The referral slips are for tracking the activity within your chapter members or between your chapter members. However, if you'd like to use the referral tracking system, this one, you have the ability, right here it says add new. So you can add as many referrals that you'd like to that they won't be credited to anybody in your chapter. But let's say that you got a referral from the Chamber of Commerce, or you got a referral from a friend or a colleague, and you just want to use this as your referral tracking tool. You are very welcome to do that. Just make sure you're doing it through the referral tracking system and not submitting a referral slip for it, because there would be no one to submit it to. But yes, you can use this to do that perfectly well. Does that answer your question? Let's see, Babette says, can you use thank you for closed business more than once? If it is repeat business, do you do thank you for closed business each and every time you generate money from the same referral? Absolutely, yes. Yes, yes, yes. If I have a recurring revenue, almost all of my business that I receive in BNI are recurring revenue. Once I get a client, I tend to keep that client for a very long time. Support contracts and managed services and things like that. So for my managed services clients, I will be submitting every quarter. I submit another thank you for closed business to the person in my chapter that referred that business to me. As a matter of fact, in that review my thank you for closed business here that I was showing you guys earlier, the ones to Angela Moon here, those are actually repeat business from referrals that she gave me probably 5 years ago. And every year they generate more and more and more money. I happen to be catching up for a year's worth of data there, but I mean, $25,000 and $35,000 for each of those referrals on a yearly basis, that's quite a bit of revenue. And every year since then, they've been doing the same thing. So yeah, absolutely. You want to track that, because I need to make sure that I'm thanking her for that on a regular basis, like probably taking her out to lunch once in a while. And let's see, Jim says, when entering information for a referral you are giving, I noticed BNI will not accept the referral if you do not click that you have given the referee's card. Yes, that is correct. So when I'm submitting a referral, I have to choose one of those options. So given card or told them you would call. Essentially, the reason for this is that one of the bare minimum requirements for a referral as opposed to a lead is that the person is expecting a call from the person you're giving the referral to. So that is essentially saying one way or the other, either I've obtained permission for them to call you, or I have told them that I have given you I have given them your information so that they can call you, if that makes sense. I know I kind of twisted that around a little bit, but essentially this is the permission piece of it. Does that make sense, Jim? I know I kind of bungled up the words on that one. Robin says, so the referral tracking system could be used to track third-tier referrals. Yes, you can use the referral tracking system to track third-tier referrals, absolutely, or any external referral you would like to. Mimi or Meme says, thank you for all your knowledge, very helpful. Be sure to be sharing this information. I'm in Vancouver, and it seems no one's using the website properly. It's a great tool that we all should be using. That is an excellent compliment. I happen to agree with you as a fellow member, granted on the other side of the border here in the United States. So just a reminder, this is being recorded, so please feel free to share this recording of this webinar with your fellow chapter members. Jim says, when a BNI member resigns, should we cease entering repeat business for that former member? I say no, absolutely not. You should continue to enter it. However, they will no longer appear in the drop-down list. So there are two things at the bottom of the drop-down list in the thank you for closed business. One says BNI and one says visitor. So BNI is intended to continue to use for past members, alumni, for, let's say, your director consultant who may not be a member, they refer your business, or your executive director refers you business. That is what the BNI line is for when you're doing thank you for closed business. And visitors, if a visitor comes to your chapter and you do business with a visitor, you want to make sure that you're tracking how much money visitors are bringing into the chapter as well. So hopefully that helps, Jim. All right, so far that was the last question. Oh, here comes some more. Excellent. I love questions. Let's see. Babette said this helped tremendously as I am relatively new. Well, you're very welcome. That's why I do these. By the way, I repeat this whole series every single month. So as new members come into your chapter next month, please recommend these webinars. I will be holding them well into the foreseeable future on a monthly basis. Let's see, Stuart says, on a thank you for closed business slip, does the member who passed the referral go into their thank you for closed business column? How do you track the name and dollar volume of the person who received the referral? So the answer to that is you don't. We're only tracking the amount of money that somebody generated through the PALMS report. The rest of the thank you for closed business information is private to the member that basically conducted the referral or whose client it is. So there isn't a, when I submit a thank you for closed business, that person, it increments in their PALMS report. They don't know that it was me that thanked them. They don't know which client it was for, unless I go to them personally and tell them that, or I stand up in the meeting and say, thank you, Frank, for generating $1,000 for my business, and it was for this referral. So if I want to share that information, I can. However, it is not publicly shared. Nobody else has access to it, and it's done that way intentionally for confidentiality reasons. Does that make sense, Stuart? And did that answer your question? Meme asks, how do we share this? Oh, good question. So there's a couple of ways that you can find this afterwards. So the first way is click on this question mark in the upper right-hand corner. That will take you over to the support site. So click this question mark. That will take you to the support site. And right here, you'll see our list of webinars. You can look at any of the monthly recordings. Again, we do this every month. I will have a January series here shortly, probably in the next 24 to 48 hours. But let's say just go to December. We did the whole series in December as well. And you can share the links to any of these videos or share this link up here with your chapter, and that will give them the entire month's worth of videos in one place. You can also go to youtube.com/BNI Connect Global, and there you'll find our entire collection of videos. Again, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. Tell you what, I will drop that into the chat window here. So you can grab that link. And this also has other things like short education moments. So let's say that you really want to take this back to your chapter. You can share with them, for example, just a quick education moment on how to pass a referral. So here's it's a short, 4-minute and 10-second education moment on how to pass a referral. And it just goes through the entire process, very much like we did today. So excellent. Thank you for that question. Robin says, is there a way to see your traffic light color on the website? So that depends on which traffic lights you're talking about. So you can see under the reports, there is the chapter traffic lights. So the chapter traffic lights are located under reports. You get there by going to reports, go to reports chapter. And towards the bottom of the reports list is one called the traffic lights report. So I do need to scroll down a little bit, and you have chapter traffic lights here. And I could view the chapter traffic lights. Now, that being said, there is not personal traffic lights right now in BNI Connect. There are a lot of regions that are doing member traffic lights or personal traffic lights. We don't have those here in BNI Connect. Those are handled outside of the system. So if you're referring to member traffic lights, we don't have those. Chapter traffic lights, you can get those under the reports. So hopefully that helps, Robin. All right. So any other questions? Robin had the last question so far. Does anybody want to top that? Any other questions I can answer today? They can be about the online slips or, just like with traffic lights, anything else in the system. I'm always happy to help. All right, if there's no additional questions, I just want to thank everybody for being here. Just a reminder, a good referral for me is to please let your other chapter members know about these webinars. Either share the recordings or invite them to attend a live webinar. Our very next webinar is going to be tomorrow, where we're going to talk about connecting with other members. How do we search for members worldwide? How do we give testimonials? How do we use the groups functionality to chat with people around the world? On Monday, we're going to talk about the member tools and reports. So we're going to take a deep dive beyond the homepage. And then on Tuesday, we're going to talk about inviting visitors. So please sign up for those webinars as well. I would love to see all of your names pop up again on some of these additional webinars. And again, please refer me to other people who might benefit from them as well. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I look forward to connecting with you in the future. Happy connecting.